Something personal. You've seen me on YouTube on our practice channel, Pain Specialist Australia, talking about pain. I live, I breathe chronic pain, pain management. But here's something personal because I think it's important to show patients, people, a little bit about who you are. I do that to the patients that I treat because it's important to show people that you are human. It's important to show people that you are a person. It's important to show people you've got a family, you've got people that you love. So here is a little bit about me. Firstly, I go around with this coffee cup. Do you recognize it? If you do, let me know. Um, this signifies a part of my life when I went on a holiday with my gorgeous family, my wife, my two kids. We had an amazing holiday in Japan. Tell me what that is about and tell me if you know it. Tell me if you love it, because I do. Right, something personal. Well, let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in South Africa in a small town called Germiston outside Johannesburg. There are many stories I can tell you about my childhood, but I just wanted to give you a sense of where I'm from. I always felt like I was meant for something more. I didn't know what that was, but I knew from a young age that I wanted to be a doctor, and I didn't know why that was either. Maybe it was because my mum told me that I had a surgeon's hands, surgeon's fingers. I don't know. It stuck. I've wanted to serve people. So through school, I had to work very hard, and I had to work very hard. I wasn't one of these clever people that got A's throughout. I had to work. I had to study, and study I did, and I got C's, B's, a couple of A's, and I managed to get into the University of Witwatersrand, the university in Johannesburg. I didn't get into medicine. I got into Bachelor of Science. They wouldn't have me in medicine. And guess what I said? Well, if you say no, I say yes, and I'm going to do this. So I started my Bachelor of Science, applied my first year, got rejected from medicine again, did my second year of Bachelor of Science, and I kind of got rejected, but I didn't. They said to me there was a place for you in a year's time. No, hang on. They said to me, we're not going to give you a place next year, but we'll give you a place the year after. They told me that. They sent me a letter that said, you've got a place next year. So basically they said, no, we'll have a place for you in a year's time. So hang out for a year. The letter said, we've got a place for you next year. And I said, well, there's the letter. You've got a place for me. And they said, nah, well, the letter doesn't stand. And I kind of had meetings with people. I had my amazing parents around me, and we all had meetings, and we said, well, there's the letter. It stands. It's your word. And they gave me my place, my hard-earned place. So I did medicine, and I studied very hard in medicine. And when I completed my internship, I worked at a place called Baragwanath Hospital, which is one of the biggest hospitals in the Southern Hemisphere. I don't know the exact statistics, but it's big. It's a trauma hospital. It's call it a third world hospital. You're very much working by yourself. You're very much working alone. You're working with your friends, and we developed some really good long-term relationships with some of my colleague doctors. When that year, that internship year was incredibly difficult. It was hard. We worked hundreds of hours a week. We were exhausted driving home, and I needed a break. I needed to decompress. So I signed on to the General Medical Council in the UK, got on a plane, and went to London. In London, I bumbled around. I did some psychiatry locums. I did some emergency department locums. I locumed around, had some fun. And then I came across anesthetics, and that's another story why I wanted to do anesthetics. And I said, right, I want to do anesthetics. So I applied for a few jobs, as one would do. And the same thing got told to me time and time again. You will never be an anesthetist. You are not cut up for this. And of course, what did I say? I'm going to do it. And I got turned away, but eventually I did it. I got into an anesthetics job. I got onto an anesthetics rotation. I then was studying at St. Mary's Hospital as an anesthetics senior registrar, having completed all my exams, just doing my time before I'm an anesthetics consultant. And one of my mentors, colleagues, Dr. Mike Platt, came up to me and said, how do you feel about doing a pain fellowship? And I said, don't know much about it, so I'll give it a try. And basically from that day, 2004, I have been doing something related to pain ever since today. And as the years have gone on, my anesthetics practice has dwindled and I'm full-time, head on, all into managing chronic pain. So a shout out to Mike Platt. Mike, thanks very much. I know you're out there. I know you're around. I hope you're well. And maybe I'll see you around sometime. So I did my pain fellowship, and then I kind of bumbled around the UK for a while until I said, right, there's more for me afield. And so my wife and I moved to Melbourne for a period of time, and that's when I got involved in the Alfred Hospital Anaesthetics Department. And similarly, something happened where I knew I had to pursue pain management. I knew I needed to do this, not because it was the easy way out, but because it was the hard way out. And the same thing gets told to me time and time again. Why do you treat chronic pain? Oh, it's so hard to do. It's so difficult. The patients are so difficult. I'm like, that's exactly why I want to do it. Because patients need us. Patients need treatment. Patients need good pain management. And so from the Alfred, I eventually stepped into private practice, and partly, no disrespect to the Alfred because it was fantastic, but partly because two things. Number one, when I arrived in Melbourne, I visited a few pain specialists just to say, hi, this is who I am, this is my intention, just to get a feel for the lay of the land. And I got told twice, you won't make it as a pain specialist in Melbourne, pretty much because I was an outsider. And of course, what did I do? I got told it's not going to happen. I made it happen. That was one of the reasons. And as I've mentioned, one of the other reasons was somebody needed to do it. There were not many pain clinics out there. It was very difficult to set up a pain clinic in my hospital. So and again, I needed to do it. It was almost a calling, so I did it. And that was in 2011. I started off my first week seeing a couple of patients. It was really difficult, and essentially I changed my mindset from that day or from that week. And I have been thinking, living, breathing chronic pain throughout, to the point where we now have a practice that has many good, experienced pain specialists. All of us have a similar journey. All of us have got our own story. Perhaps as time goes on, I'll share with you that story, because everyone's got an amazing story. Everyone is in pain management, and it is a tricky specialty. It can be hard work. It can be draining at times, but it can be incredibly rewarding when you've got a patient that comes back to you and says, my life has changed. I'm back on track again. So that's a little bit about who I am. That's a little bit about how I got here. I got here not because it was easy. I got here because I kept on being told, you're never going to get there. And I kept on ignoring what I was told. And I sometimes even used that as a driver, a motivation to actually get there. There were a couple of other things I wanted to mention. One is being a pain specialist, being a doctor, as I'm sure some of you are aware, is incredibly taxing. It's incredibly hard work, and you've got to find time to be a husband. I've got to find time to be a dad. I've got to find time to be a son. I've got to find time to be healthy. I've got to find all this time, and I don't know the answers to this. I'm kind of taking it a day at a time. I'm taking it a week at a time. I'm striving for a little more. And I just wanted to share some of that with you. And I hope that I'll be able to share some more stuff with you as well. I'm also a coach to many doctors. I'm also a mentor to many doctors. I'm also an educator to many doctors as well. So yeah, that's a bit about who I am. That's a bit about where I've come from. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what the next journey is. I'm still here. We're still going. We're taking it a day at a time. We're treating a patient at a time. I'm still doing my best to increase our reach because I know there are thousands of people out there that are struggling immensely with chronic pain. Um, I have been up early. I have done a video presentation, which I will get onto YouTube at some point. So have a look at our YouTube channel if you're interested about in chronic pain and learning some stuff about chronic pain. And it is 8:39. I am now going to finish my coffee in my cup that perhaps you can tell me a little bit about. And I'm going to now turn off my content hat. I'm going to turn off my lights. I am going to prepare the office so that I can now manage patients for the rest of the day. And then at the end of that, I'm going to get back to my family. I hope this has been insightful. I hope you've learned a little bit of something about me. I've tried to do this in one take as well, so there's no editing. And unfortunately, there are some ums and ahs, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks very much.